Thank you very much, and welcome to another GCI's Public Sector Manager Forum. This is one forum that we managed to establish precisely to try to encourage dialogue within the public service, but secondly, to ensure that we are able to share knowledge and be able to understand what the entire government is doing, but at the same time to profile some of our achievers that have been created by this democracy. And today, as we all know, we mark the last day of what we call the Nelson Mandela Month. And for that, I know that most of you might have had an opportunity to go and give back to humanity, as our founding father has already done. Let's firstly remind ourselves of why we are here and what this month meant for us.
Our struggle for freedom and justice was a collective effort. Mandela Day is no different. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. Mandela Day will not be a holiday, but a day devoted to service. It is our hope that people will dedicate their time and effort to improve the conditions within their own communities.
Many other organizations, many other South Africans have shown that Nelson Mandela means a lot to many of us. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that in the edition of the Public Sector magazine, which we have distributed to you, that we made an effort to dedicate this edition to former President Mandela. We also felt that we should bring one of our young doctors to come and share his own story, which begins to tell the vision that Nelson Mandela had for our country. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor to introduce to you our main speaker, which is Mr. Sello Khatang, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nelson Mandela Center of Memory.
Nelson Mandela regarded himself as a public servant. In his first speech after being released from prison, he stressed his position as a servant of the people. He said, and I quote, "Friends, comrades, and fellow South Africans, I greet you all in the name of peace, democracy, and freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands." These words are not just lip service. They anchor Madiba's position as a lifelong public servant and reiterate his commitment to humanity. In my view, Madiba has what I call three principles or three rules by which he's led his life throughout. The first one is free yourself, and the second one is to free others. The third principle is serve every day. Madiba's legacy has created the opportunity for our nation to achieve a common future, a future that we should never let anyone take away from us. The vision behind this key event is simple, that each individual has the ability and responsibility to impact change. One message drives this vision. Nelson Mandela gave 67 years of his life fighting for social justice and human rights. The Mandela Day campaign tasks that individuals, groups, and companies use minimally 67 minutes of their time on the 18th of July and every day thereafter to give back. I'd like to present Ndate Maloka with a very small token of appreciation to the GCIS for the work that you did for Mandela Day 2013. I thank you very much.
I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Vuyani Nhlomi, to come and give his talk.
Thank you very much to GCIS to the Public Sector Manager for the amazing opportunity. Former President Nelson Mandela states, and I quote, "There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." Close quotes. We need innovators, free thinkers, and dreamers. Former President Nelson Mandela's legacy is that of individuals whose leadership capacity matches prevailing challenges of the day. But such cannot exist if we don't possess the same qualities. In essence, we cannot be caught in the business of creating leaders whom we have failed to become. The message that we preach should be the very message that converts us first. It is every individual's task to build a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous society. Then we are heading the right direction. I dare say it is an act of patriotism. We have truly embraced what it means to be a South African. Help us inspire greatness, for greatness is a quality that resides not just in some, but in all of us. I thank you.
And give his talk. Our next speaker is Mr. Mila Matola.
For us as Brand South Africa, in doing the work we do, we see ourselves as being responsible for socio-economic development, because the work we do is largely around changing perceptions. It's largely around the custodianship of the brand of the country. It is also largely around changing the narrative about this country. Or when people talk about the miracle of South Africa, you know how we transitioned from apartheid, which was our earlier brand or the reputation we had, to a new brand which was around freedom, around respect for human rights, around reconciliation, and a deep understanding that our existence is integrally tied to those around us. It wasn't so much a miracle, but it was the making of men and women like Nelson Mandela who understood and knew that there is a different way. And so what he bequeaths or leaves to us is that understanding that South Africa is a country that inspires new ways. Our job as Brand South Africa is to make sure that the South Africans and the world buy into South Africa in its totality, including its services, its products, its people, its investments, and everything else.